At 16, I became an orphan with nothing but a little sister to raise. By 30, I was a millionaire. This isn't a story about luck. It's about the one promise that changed my life forever, and it could change yours too. Subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the lessons that will help you write your own success story. I don't know who you are listening to my voice right now, but I do know one thing. You are young, and you have a life full of dreams. But let me ask you a question, a serious question. Are you really doing anything about those dreams? Or are you just sitting there, wasting time thinking you have forever? Let me tell you something that might shock you. Every single day, 150,000 people die. That is more than 100 people every minute. That means 2 people in every second. Right now, as you listen to my words, someone has just taken their last breath. And do you know the saddest part? Most of those people regret wasting their lives. They regret not using their time wisely. They regret not doing the things they truly wanted to do. But you still have time. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Let me tell you my story. Maybe it will inspire you to make a change. I was only 16 years old when my life completely fell apart. My parents, they were everything to me. They were my guides, my teachers, my very best friends. One day, they were on a bus coming home. The bus was in a terrible accident. They did not survive. I still remember the exact moment I found out. It is as clear as today. I was sitting in my classroom just staring out the window. I was bored, waiting for the school bell to ring. Then my principal came into the room and called my name. He asked me to come outside. His face looked so serious, so heavy. He put a hand on my shoulder and said, "David, there has been an accident. I am so sorry." In that single moment, it felt like my whole world had been taken away from me. My parents were gone, just like that. I had a little sister, Sarah. She was only 7 years old at the time. She was so young she didn't really understand what had happened. When I finally went home that day, she ran to me. She looked up at me with her big, innocent eyes and asked, "Where is Mommy? Where is Daddy?" I didn't know how to tell her. My heart felt like a stone in my chest. How do you explain to a small child that her parents will never come back? That night, I held her in my arms as she cried herself to sleep. I didn't cry. Not because I wasn't sad, my heart was broken into a million pieces. I didn't cry because I knew I couldn't afford to fall apart. I had to take care of her now. She needed me to be strong. We had no relatives who could help us. We had no money saved. And we had no idea what to do next. I had to drop out of school to take care of Sarah. It was a difficult choice, but it was the only choice. I worked every job I could possibly find. I washed dishes in a noisy kitchen. I carried heavy bricks on construction sites. I cleaned the city streets late at night. Some days I did not eat because I needed to save every coin to buy food for her. There were nights when I sat alone in the dark, too tired to even sleep, wondering if this was all my life would ever be. Just hard work, hunger, and a deep, quiet pain. But then one night, everything changed. I was watching my little sister sleep. She looked so peaceful, so safe. And as I looked at her, I made a promise to myself. I said it quietly, like a prayer. I will not let this be our life. I will not waste my time feeling sorry for myself. I will do whatever it takes to give Sarah a better future. That promise, that single moment, changed everything inside me. I started to think differently. Instead of complaining about what I didn't have, I started to focus on what I could do. I worked harder than ever before. But now I also started learning on my own. I borrowed old books from anyone who would lend them. I listened carefully to people who were smarter than me. I learned how to save and invest the little money I earned. It was not easy. Of course not. There were many days when I wanted to give up. But every time I felt weak, I looked at Sarah and remembered my promise. One day, I got my first real break. A man I worked for noticed how hard I always worked. He saw how eager I was to learn new things. He came to me and said, "Son, I've been watching you." He gave me a chance. He asked me to manage a small part of his business. That was the beginning of everything. Over time, with a lot of work and careful planning, I saved enough money to start my own business. It was very small at first, just a tiny little shop. But I kept going. I learned from every single mistake. And slowly, very slowly, things started to get better. You see, kids, life is not easy. It wasn't easy for me, and it will not be easy for you. But here is the truth: you do not need easy. You need to be strong. Every minute you spend scrolling on your phone, playing video games, or hanging out with people who do not add any value to your life, you are wasting time. And it is time that you will never, ever get back. You have dreams, don't you? Maybe you want to be rich. Maybe you want to be famous. Or maybe you just want to be happy. Whatever your dream is, it will not happen by magic. You have to work for it. You have to use your time wisely. Because one day, you will run out of time. And when that day comes, I want you to look back at your life and feel proud. Not regretful. I had started my small business, but let me tell you, starting something is only the first step. The real challenge is to stay committed to keep going, especially when everything seems to go wrong. About a year after starting my business, I faced my first big failure. I had invested all of my savings into a new project. I was so sure it would work. But it didn't. The project failed, and I lost everything. Every single coin that I had worked so hard to save was gone. That night, I sat alone in my little room just staring at the empty walls. The silence was so loud. Sarah came to me holding her little toy. She looked at my face and asked, "Are we going to be okay, brother?" I looked at her, and I managed to smile, even though my heart felt heavy and broken. I hugged her and said, "Yes, Sarah. We will be okay. We always will be." Do you know why I said that? It was because I truly believed it. Yes, I had failed, but failure does not mean it is the end. Failure is just a lesson in disguise. It is life's way of teaching you what does not work so you can find what does. So I started again, from the beginning. I worked even harder. I learned from my mistakes, and I refused to give up. Because here is a great truth, kids. Life will knock you down. It will knock you down many times, but it's not about how many times you fall. It is about how many times you get back up. I realized something very important during those tough times. Big dreams are built with small steps. You do not need to do everything all at once. Just focus on the next step. What is the one thing you can do right now? When I didn't have money, I went back to working small jobs again. When I couldn't hire people, I did all the work myself. Every single day, I told myself, today I will take one step forward. Just one. And those small steps began to add up. Slowly but surely, I started seeing progress again. So please remember this. You don't have to climb the whole mountain in one day. Just take one step, and then another, and then another. One day, you will look back and realize you have come so far. I want you to listen very carefully now. If there is one thing you must never ever waste, it is your time. Time is the most valuable thing you have. It is more precious than money. It is more important than anything else, because once time is gone, you can never get it back. Do you know what I used to do? I made a list of my dreams, and I kept that small piece of paper in my pocket. Every time I felt tired or lazy, every time I felt like wasting time, I would take out that list. It reminded me why I was working so hard. It reminded me that I couldn't afford to waste even a single minute. You do not need to wait for the perfect time to start chasing your dreams. The perfect time is now, right now, this very second. Because every second you wait, someone else is working harder, getting closer to their dreams while you are just standing still. Don't let that be you. One day, something amazing happened. I was walking down the street after a long, hard day of work. I saw a sign on a building. It said, Business Training Seminar. Free entry. I didn't know much about business back then, but I was curious. I felt a little nervous, but I went inside. At that seminar, I listened to people who had achieved incredible things, and one of the speakers said something that changed my life forever. He said, "Success is not about luck. It is about your mindset. If you believe you can do something and you work for it every single day, nothing can stop you." That sentence hit me like a lightning bolt. I realized that my biggest enemy wasn't my difficult situation or my lack of money. It was my own doubts. It was the voice in my head that sometimes said, "You can't do this." From that day on, I decided to believe in myself no matter what. Let me share a few lessons I learned on my long journey. First, your friends shape your future. Be very careful about who you spend your time with. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, not people who hold you back. Second, discipline is stronger than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's like a sunny day. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward even on the hard, rainy days. Third, do not compare yourself to others. Everyone has their own path, their own journey. Focus on yours. And fourth, dream big, but start small. Big dreams can sometimes feel overwhelming, but small, consistent actions every day will bring you closer. Kids, you might be thinking, "But David, I don't have resources. I don't have support. I don't know where to start." Let me tell you something. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start. Start right where you are, with whatever you have. It doesn't matter if your first step is small. What matters is that you take action. Because action creates momentum, and momentum leads to success. For now, I just want you to think about this. Are you living your life fully, or are you just letting time slip away? The choice is yours. Please make it count. Now let me tell you how my story ends. After years of struggle, failures, and many sacrifices, I finally built the life I had dreamed of for me and Sarah. I became a millionaire. But do you know what mattered most to me? It was not the money. It was the journey. Every tear I cried, every night I went to bed hungry. Every single time I thought about giving up, but didn't. It all made me stronger. And do you know why I share this with you today? Because your journey starts now. You have the power to change your own life. When I reached the peak of my success, I didn't think about the fancy cars, the big house, or the money in the bank. I thought about my little sister Sarah, who grew up to be a kind, smart, and wonderful woman. I thought about all the people who told me I couldn't do it, and how I proved them wrong. And I thought about you. Yes, you, the young person sitting here listening to my story. I want you to know that you do not need to be special to succeed. You do not need to be born rich. You just need to believe in yourself and work harder than anyone else. Do you know what most people regret at the end of their lives? It is not the mistakes they made. It is the chances they didn't take. It is the dreams they left behind because they were too scared, or too lazy, or too distracted. But you kids, you have a choice. Right now, you have the time and the energy to make something amazing out of your life. Do not waste it. Don't waste it scrolling through your phone or playing video games all day. Those things will never give you the deep happiness you are looking for. What will give you true happiness is working toward your dreams, making your family proud, and knowing that you gave your absolute best. I want to leave you with one last thought. Life is short. Every second you waste is a second you will never get back. So ask yourself this. What do you want your story to be? Do you want to be remembered as someone who gave up when things got hard? Or as someone who fought for their dreams? The choice is yours. And remember, it is never too late to start. I started with nothing but a broken heart and a hungry stomach. If I could do it, so can you. Thank you for listening to my story, kids. Now go and write your own. Make it a story so powerful, so inspiring, that when you tell it one day, people will feel the fire in their hearts. Because life is not about waiting for the right moment. It is about making every moment the right one. Now go and make every second count.